Now, why is that? Well, obviously there's a lot of reasons. We don't get the budget we deserve, we don't get the staff we deserve, we don't get the priority we deserve, but I think there's another reason. We're losing the war for the best talent because we're still relying on old habits. We're still fighting the last war. Let me give you some proof. When we go online, what do we do today? We do 4 things. We pick out some job boards. We post some jobs. If we're really advanced, we do a little data mining. And we send out a ton of email. I mean, that's basically our strategy. Okay? So let's look at each of those. There are, by my count, over 50,000 job boards in the US alone today. 50,000. Okay? And 50 cents of every recruiting dollar spent on the internet by all of you are spent on just 3 sites. You know them: Monster, Career Builder, and Hot Jobs. Come on. A core competency of recruiters in the 21st century is knowing how to be a smart consumer of job boards. It's not that the big 3 are bad, it's that you have lots of other choices. And the key to successful recruitment advertising, in part at least, is to know which job boards to use. Whether you use a tool like Hodes IQ or you use your own knowledge, you've got to shop smart for job boards. Second, job postings. Now, the internet, in my humble opinion, is the most overhyped technology in the history of humankind. But it does not get credit for one of its greatest achievements. And that is that it has created a cure for insomnia. I get to speak to lots of groups like this, and sometimes I have to travel to do so. I sleep in lots of strange hotels. Whenever I can't get to sleep, I just log on to the local job board, open up the job postings, and start reading. They are soporific. They put a brick to sleep. They are so boring, so dull, so uninspiring, that the only people they're going to recruit are people who are desperate for work. Yeah. Third, the whole industry has grown up teaching us how to data mine on the web, how to go out there and sniff around through 500 billion documents looking for resumes. Now, you can find resumes that way. If you got lots of time, no pressure, no hiring managers who need jobs filled tomorrow, you can knock yourselves out. You can find resumes that way. But if you live in the real world, where you got to get jobs filled right away, where you have to connect with top talent immediately and convince them to apply for your particular opening, that the value proposition of your employer is better than the value proposition of their own employer, then that's a very inefficient way to go to market. I'm not saying don't do it, because I'm actually going to teach you a couple of data mining techniques a little later, but I am saying do it more carefully. And then finally, you and I violate one of the very first lessons our mothers taught us. In fact, it might have been the very first lesson your mother taught you. What was the first lesson your mother taught you? Don't talk to strangers. That's exactly right. Yet we send email out over the internet all the time saying, hey, we got a job for you. And we are shocked when the best and brightest say, who are you? You know, I don't know you from boo. Why should I accept your invitation for a job? I have lots of invitations. I want to deal with people I know and trust to advance my career. So that's why I say we're doing all these things, and inadvertently the tactics that we're using are those that are still focused on the war for any talent, not the war for the best talent. And on top of that, look at this. The world is crazy. It's changing so fast. The web is morphing before our very eyes. Look at all the different things, and a lot of these topics are going to be covered later on today. Social networking, brand new phenomenon. How does it intersect with our profession? If you go look for a job in Europe, guess where your job agent's going to appear? It doesn't appear on a website. It appears on your cell phone or your PDA. And our society is moving in that direction. Video. I'm not sure that video resumes are ever going to be important, but I can tell you what, video ads are the next wave of recruitment advertising on the web, because the number one thing that the best talent, not mediocre talent, but the best talent wants to know is, what is it like to work in your company? And there's absolutely no better way to express that than with a video. Now, it can't be a video selling it the way you sell tires, but a video to talk about the attributes that define your value proposition as an employer. Job board growth. If there are 50,000 job boards today, I'll bet you there'll be 100,000 in 3 years. No barrier to entry in this industry. Some of them are pure schlock, and some of them are wonderfully accurate ways to drill down into the workforce population to the specific talent cohort you're looking for, so that you don't post an ad for a pediatrics nurse and get sushi chefs and truck drivers applying for your position. Search marketing. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but now is the time, not during the recovery, now is the time to be building your brand. Because brand spells the difference between being able to recruit active job seekers and passive job seekers. Brand is everything, the latter category, passive prospects. Job board redesign. Job boards aren't all created equal. There's a whole new kind of job board. Passive people go to one kind of job board, active job seekers go to another. You need to know the difference. Security problems. Identity theft, malware attacks, all of those things are happening on the web at job boards as well as every place else. They aren't unique to job boards by any stretch, but you have to know how to protect yourself. The attack against Monster last summer wasn't an attack against job seekers, it was an attack against employers. And then finally, blogging. So, what am I going to talk about today? I want to talk about a strategy and a set of tactics for the emerging web so that you can, again, maximize your return on investment of time, talent, and money online. Okay? Now, here's the two pillars of my strategy. The first is that the best talent never, ever looks for a job. Rare skill holders and rare performers never, ever look for a job. They look for a career advancement opportunity. That's a very different value proposition. And on top of that, here's the other challenge. Most, not all, but most of the best talent are employed, which means that in order to recruit them, you have to convince them to do the one thing that human beings most hate to do. What's that? Change. Exactly. You have to convince them to go from the devil they know, their current boss, their current commute, their current employer, to the devil they don't know, a new boss, a new commute, your organization. You can't do that with a 3-line job posting or a job posting that only a lawyer could love. Secondly, the best talent does expect to be wooed. Now, I want you to think about that. Let me give you an example. My wife is a power shopper at Nordstrom's. I drive a used Honda. She's such a powerful shopper. When she walks in the door at Nordstrom's, the Nordstrom's CFO knows it's going to be a very good month. And she shops at the same store. Okay? So when she walks in the door, she gets treated differently when I walk in the door. I get treated very courteously, very politely. They attend to my needs. But when she walks in the door, they greet her by her first name. They say, "We know what you bought last time. We set some things aside that you might want to look at this time." Just like you get at Amazon. And she gets a different kind of treatment. Here's the golden rule of recruiting on the web. What you do to recruit the best talent will also recruit mediocre talent, but the converse is not true. You set the bar down here, and you'll recruit everybody beneath that bar. You set the bar up here, you'll recruit everybody all the way up to the top bar.